Go.
We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships. This is the Couples Academy Show.
Welcome to the Couples Academy Show, my friends and family, all you folks out there, all throughout the world. Why are you looking? See, I feel her looking at me with this side eye, like I said something wrong, did something wrong, but I'm just communicating with my people. Can I not do that? Welcome to the Couples Academy Show. My name is Hassani.
And I'm Danielle.
And here we are for another great week. I hope that you had an amazing weekend. I know that we had a very busy weekend, because that's just the life that we live over here, but we always find time to do things as a family and have fun and get it in. Did you have a great weekend this weekend?
I had a great weekend. I wanted to big up and acknowledge my phenomenal executive producer, Madison Pettiford, who just released her first, she just released the first short film that she starred in, which is...
She's the feature.
She's the feature in a short film from, what is the college? Georgia University?
University of Georgia.
University of Georgia. So it was a project for, I think, the graduating seniors to do. And they chose my Maddie to do this. And she was the only kid, high school kid there. It was a bunch of college students, and they chose my baby. So I just want to acknowledge her. If I had a clap button, I would go ahead and
That's a bomb. Can we get a bomb from Madison?
That's the bomb.
She did a great job.
We got to encourage our youth to continue to do the things that they're gifted at. So I had a phenomenal weekend because I was able to be blessed by my daughter and so many other things.
Absolutely, guys. Listen, we're excited this week because we have a brand new series. We're going to take our time with this. We're going to have to unpack this because I'm sick and tired of all of our clients coming up with this BS.
OMG.
All right?
I'm sick and tired.
What qualifies a man and a woman in a relationship and all of this stuff.
Didn't I say we was going to talk about it? Because, we've been holding our tongue and, client after client come to me talking about, what their husband is telling them that they're not. They're not a high value woman. You know why? Because they're old and over 30 and all these different things. And I'm like, what is going on? So we had to dig in and dial down to find out who's in these streets talking stuff and do they make sense? Like, what are they saying? Like, we can't be just biased, right? We got to actually listen to people and see if they make sense.
Yeah, so we're talking about it. And we're going to take our time, but we're going to start off with this.
But first we got to
becoming a high value, whether you're a man or woman, but how to become a high value man.
Yes, but before we do that, I do have to ask you to make sure you like, share, and please subscribe. Go ahead and do that right now for us because we know when you do it and we get the notifications, and it actually helps to spread this message that you and we are very passionate about. So make sure that you do that now, like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Yeah, we had an amazing couple who came in from California, and boy, was it an explosive weekend. When I say explosive, I mean in a good way. Danielle and I tag teamed, and we also had Lakeisha Hines, who came up from Tampa, Florida, to be with us as it was like this tag team thing going.
It's a blessing to be able to find people to join your team who you could just turn it loose and they got it.
Yeah.
She's so gifted. She was able to, with so much grace, get up in your face and say what needs to be said to create an environment for breakthrough. And that's what happened this weekend. There was tremendous breakthrough for this couple, and it was so awesome to have somebody to support this mission.
Yeah, so let's go to their video as they share a testimonial about their weekend experience.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Kristen, and this is my husband, Lance, and we're from California. And, I came here with very little hope. I didn't think that we would be able to move forward. Day one, didn't think we were going to move forward. I was negative and pessimistic as to what could be. And each day, being here at Couples Academy, I was encouraged. I was instructed and given tools and resources and now I'm sitting here next to my husband. When at the start of this, we were on opposite ends of the couch. I didn't really want to look at him. Maybe he didn't want to look at me. But I'm walking away today with a freedom and a happiness and a joy and a love and a future. If anyone is considering coming here and they want to know that a future is possible, a future that is better than whatever they're currently living in, this is the place to be.
And I'll just add to that. And just like you said, we did come here for hope, did not have hope. And we took the leap of faith because it's an investment. It's an investment to come down, not just investment of resources, but investment of time, investment of emotion. So we allowed ourselves to take that leap of faith. We came down. But I desperately yearn for were tools and resources to be able to take what we were learning here, be able to apply it. And I had an expectation of receiving a level of insights, informations. I feel like that level was exceeded because they were able to speak to me. I consider myself to be a very analytical person. They were able to give me tools and resources. At the same time, they were speaking with my wife, give her emotional needs and emotional resources that she could utilize. And because of this time that we spent over the weekend, I believe that our marriage is on a much stronger foundation. I'm excited about the potential of our future. And while I'm coming down here, if you're on the fence, I encourage you to consider taking that leap of faith. This is not a seminar or a session where they're out to take your money. If you're getting value, appreciate the exchange of the value that we've gotten. And for that, we're grateful and we'll pass the word on. And if you're on the fence, I encourage you to consider taking that leap of faith. I believe you will be rewarded for that, and prayerfully so too will your marriage be rewarded for that. All the best.
What an amazing thing, right? It was a powerful weekend, and they were talking to you folks. They're those of you who watch the show. Now, what's interesting is that they saw, he said, I saw you in a TED Talk like a few years ago, and I have been watching you for the last few years, and then watching you and your wife on the show, and during that period of time, there were ups and downs and challenges. And what's interesting is that, you know, seeds are sown, harvest comes when it comes. And 2 years later, they made the decision to do something different, and they were able to get what it is that they came for. And so there are those of you who are still on the fence. You're still deliberating back and forth. You're vacillating. Should I do it? Should I not? Should I invest in this marriage? Is it worth it? And I would say that overwhelmingly most come in hopeless. I don't know, they just have a cynical perspective on their situation because they've just spent years in just hell and torment. But we just want to let you know that the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek.
Absolutely.
And there's a treasure on the other side of this journey. Listen, guys, we're gonna jump right into the show. I have the wrong screen up, but it's becoming high value, right? Become a high value husband. And the reason why I wanted to differentiate man from husband is, first of all, I have a problem with the definition in terms of how it's being unpacked of a high value man, number one. But let's just say you're pursuing a high value man. That doesn't necessarily qualify you for a husband.
Right.
It's two completely different things.
Correct. And I think the bill of goods that's been sold to men who are husbands is that they need to become high value men. But you've already stepped into the role of husbandhood. So you can't backtrack, right? We're not going back to just being a man. You've already got another mantle on your life. And that whole definition for the high value man doesn't really take into account what is required to be a high valued husband.
Now, high value man, this concept goes back, years.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not a new phenomenon. However, it's become the new big thing that everyone is talking about. And I think the internet is breaking with this particular theme. High value man, high value woman, low value man, low value woman. And so the reality is, no matter who you listen to, overwhelmingly, most of them are talking to a single world.
Yeah.
Right? That is their audience. They're trying to encourage people how to make the best selection.
Right.
You know, I was always told, don't just look for who will be the best person, become the best person, because when you're the best person you can be, you choose differently. Right. But that's a whole other issue.
And nothing wrong with that.
At all. Nothing wrong with that at all. But in terms of who you should select, now the challenge is most people who come to us have already made a selection. They're already in a relationship. And so now they're listening to individuals who are talking to a different demographic and a different audience, and now they're questioning their selection. Did I make the right choice? Why doesn't my wife or why doesn't my husband measure up to this definition?
That's what's happening. That's exactly what's happening. Because they're taking in all this content from 1,000 different sources talking about high value men and not actually qualifying the statement and including a husband or differentiating it. You've got husbands looking at their wives side-eyed, like, based on this list, you are not a high-value wife. Your value is declining.
Yes.
And based on my age and my demographic and all those details, my worth is increasing. So hold on, And so when that's going on, everything else in the relationship that was a problem is now becoming magnified because now somebody's in my ear telling me, wait, I'm high value. Let me look at my bank account. Yep. I got that. Yeah. I'm a certain age. Okay, yeah. Oh, I'm fit. Yeah, I'm a high value man. It's leaving, so it's like a coloring worksheet that you get in preschool, right? With all the outlines and nobody colored it in. Right. And they're just giving you the outline.
So listen, we're going to break this thing down. We're coming right back. We want to hear from you because I know we're not the only ones that are hearing this conversation. We want to know what your thoughts are. We're going to get deep into this. We're going to take our time, but we want to hear your comments and questions. We'll be right back on the other side of this break. You're watching the Couples Academy Show.
Welcome back, family. You're watching the Couples Academy Show, and I just want to bring your attention to the Enneagram assessment. Have you had yours done yet? Do you know who you are? More than that, do you know why you are and why you do the things that you do? One of the things the last couple that was here said was that I'm sold. Like, they had heard about the Enneagram and they had done all these, they know about all these other assessments because they're in the business world, right? But when we did that Enneagram with them and when we broke it down, they were like, How on earth can you tell me this so spot on about myself? How does all of this equate to my childhood? How did you know I went through trauma? How? So many questions. It's that spot on. It's that accurate. It's like disrobing. If you don't know your Enneagram personality type, call us and get your assessment done. I want to welcome you guys right now. I want to thank everybody for joining us and liking and sharing and subscribing and hitting that notification bell. And I want to acknowledge D.O. Good morning from South Bend. Good morning, Vishan from Chicago. RDS is tuning in from the UK. Fedlina is tuning in from Las Vegas, Nevada. Good morning, Stacy in Antigua. We miss y'all. They got the most beautiful beaches, don't they? Oh my God. And the food.
The food is
Antiguans can cook. They can burn.
And food.
Beaches and food. If y'all want, I mean, it's,
and there's 365 beaches. There's a beach for every day of the year.
Right.
And the food.
And we know that, but not a lot of Americans go over to Antigua, but that's a trip to put on your to-do list, your bucket list.
Absolutely.
Ken Thomas from Austin, Texas. Ralph from Ohio. Jewel from, it doesn't say, but good morning back at you, Jewel. Kevin, good morning. Keisha from, good morning from DMV. DMV?
Yeah, that's the Virginia area.
Oh,
DC, Maryland, Virginia.
Gotcha, okay. B. O'Neill is tuning in from Louisiana. Kevin from Central Michigan. Ladidra from Dallas, Texas. Good morning, Ken. Congratulations to Madison, Ken says. Thank you.
Props.
Everybody's saying congrats, Madison, RGS, Jewel. Thank you, guys. Yay, Madison. Yeah, she tries to be, she's like humble about it. She's like, ooh, I can't even believe myself. So she appreciates the recognition. Rick from Michigan. Clarence. It's Ladidra again. I think we've got most we're repeating now. Oh, Angela, she's tuning in from Guyana. Welcome to the show. So welcome everybody. Let's jump back into this.
Yeah, man. So we're talking about this high value man and how to become a husband, which is different than just being a quote unquote man. So anyway, this is a guy by the name of Kevin Samuels. I'm sure many of you have heard of him before. He is a lifestyle coach.
Oh, okay.
I'm only pausing because I don't remember the exact specific area. But in essence, he spent years really teaching men how to increase their value. And so he has this list of qualifications of what makes you high value. Now, interestingly enough, he will tell you that it's one thing for one person, and it's switch the cameras. Switch the cameras is
all
black.
live. Yeah.
They can't see me. It's a black screen. There you go. All right, thank you. Anyway, so he has his qualifications for value. And depending upon who you listen to, everybody's got their own qualifications. And so we want to take the time to unpack this because his voice is probably the strongest and the loudest.
Right now, yeah.
And he has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of subscribers. And listen, I respect everybody's desire to share a message that they believe in. But the question becomes, if you take the time to unpack the message, does it align? Does it make sense? Does it add up? And so there are a lot of great characteristics that he identifies as a high value man, but I think that the characteristics don't make someone high value. I think they make someone maybe a high value employee.
I think exactly. I think it makes it them high value to someone or for something. And I think it's about identifying who is this message really for, right? Because he's got a message. If he's helping men become high value, okay, he's dealing with a portion of it. Nobody said that he's a fitness coach, right? So he's got his lane. And if that's his lane to make men high value, okay, and it's based on his principles, okay. But what's going on is that other people that message is not meant for several reasons are buying into the message. Yeah. And I think that the message is being misplaced for a lot of people.
So one of the things he says, Danielle, is that your value is determined by the market. And I think what he says makes sense, but in the wrong context. Think about this. If you want to sell your home, right, and let's just say you say, well, my home was worth $400,000. But the market says it's only worth $250,000, right. Then you could only sell it for what the market determines that it's worth. So when you look at it from that framework, I get that. That makes sense. So in essence, what you do is you paint your walls, you put new carpet down, you hook up the landscaping. You're increasing the value to the market so that they have more of an interest of purchasing your property. That makes sense.
Sure does.
But when you're talking about inanimate objects, you can use that framework. But when you're talking about manhood, womanhood, humanity, the value of a person can't solely be based upon the market. Okay, the value of the person has to be based upon the creator who created the model in the first place. Like if we are created in the image and likeness of God, so we look like him and we're supposed to function and operate like him, then wouldn't he be the one that we need to go back to? Wouldn't his system be the thing that we need to review to determine are we operating in the capacity and the function that he created us in the first place?
Right, and I think also, to dial that in, it's about we're talking about high value, right? Yeah. It's about your values. Like, what are your values?
Wow.
What are your...
Pause. That's a bomb. That's a bomb. But he never mentions values.
Right. So how are we talking about a high value man?
Did that just come off the dome?
It comes off the dome. I pull stuff from the ether. It just comes... How on earth are we talking about a high value man, but values aren't a part of that conversation?
Absolutely.
Because I think that's what is the issue. A lot of what is talked about when it comes to a high value man it is great and it could be applicable to a woman too. Like, the finances, anybody. Like, finances are great. Well, being fit is great. All these different things, are great. But we can't have that without the character to maintain that. Yeah. And that is the big missing piece to me in the conversation. It's what I don't hear when wives are talking to me about what their husbands are saying to them, you ain't, and I've discovered about myself. Nobody is dealing with the characters of the man. Yeah. The values that the man has when he steps outside the house. It's not even considered.
let's talk about this, because you're right. Character and values aren't mentioned. The number one characteristic on his list of what makes you a high value man is money. So in essence, what he's saying is that any man who makes $100,000 or more is considered high value. And now here's
even the ones that gamble it away.
I'm just saying.
Just asking.
But here's the challenge. We have to look into the statistics, right? Because there's truth in the statistics. Let's talk about this $100,000 salary. So I guess that would imply if you don't make $100,000, then you don't qualify as a high value man. Now, I think a lot of people would be offended when we look at the statistics. So I wanted to share some numbers with you and kind of go through this slowly to walk you through how many individuals actually make $100,000 or more, and what the majority of people make. So take a look at this, all right? Number one, we see that if you're between the ages of 16 and 19 years old, you're gonna make $26,000 a year. That makes sense. Now, these are the median ages. Right. I mean, the median income, median. If you're between 20 and 24, you're making $31,980 a year. As a male between 25 and 34, you're making $46,000. Okay, we see it slowly beginning to increase up. 35 to 44, $58,000 a year. Now think about it. Most people who are dating are in their late teens to about mid-30s. That's the range before they get married. So here you have, on average, men making between $31,000 and $46,000. That's the median income. Median
Not
income.
Average, but median.
And let's clarify. Median income is different than the average income, but the typical individual in this country is making that. So if women are saying, based upon his definition, I need to find somebody who is $100,000 or more, it's problematic, because the statistics suggest that only 9% of the entire male population in America make $100,000 or more. So what that means is you've just knocked out 91% of the entire dating pool of men based upon that classification.
That's deep, because that doesn't even take into cultural, race, or any, that leaves out a lot of information that you need to know based on your dating selection, right?
Yeah.
There are other cultures that you're isolated from. There's other belief systems, religion, all that, your faith, the stuff that matters when you get together with somebody and want to have a family and you got to raise children. The things that matter are left out of that equation.
Yep.
For you to say 9% of the entire
9%.
Male population, that makes no sense.
It's crazy, guys. Listen, we're going to continue this conversation. We're going to go deep. You're watching the Couples Academy show. Be right back.
Welcome back, guys. You're watching the Couples Academy show, and I just want to read a couple of your comments. Angela says, thank you for everything y'all do. This is a great topic, and it's something that we've been wanting to talk about for a long time. D.O. says, I'm an 8. Everyone, please get this done. They're talking about the Enneagram. It is disrobing and accurate. It gave me chills how accurate it was. I am scheduling my husband on one next week with Danielle. Is fabulous. Thank you, D. I really appreciate it. All right, let's jump back into this. Did I miss any comments that are necessary to read, Hassani? Okay, here we go. very valid point. What are your values? And that's the whole conversation here. What are we talking about when we're talking about a high value man, right? Are we just talking about his net worth, which at the end of the day, it might deplete. You can have wealth at one moment and be broke the next, right? Yeah. But if you have the right characteristics and the right values, you can build that wealth back up tomorrow. Exactly. I'm looking for so much more in a husband than how much money you have in your wallet today. Just like I'm looking for so much more than what you look like today. Because what you look like today, you're not going to look like tomorrow.
True indeed.
Right? So we need to redefine what a high value man really is.
And making a lot of money. That's right. Making a lot of money doesn't qualify you for a healthy relationship, right? So here's the reality. There are 4 pillars of a man, right? One of the pillars is the pillar of a king. A king is given vision in order to provide. So the idea that men should be providers, absolutely, that is our focus. But it's one of many other components. It's an important component, and we do encourage men to make as much money as you can. I mean, who would not want to make more money? But that shouldn't be the number one qualifier for a man.
And you know what? So Jamal says, the modern woman wants that guy, but don't qualify. The modern woman wants that guy because that's the stuff that's being bred and sown into the atmosphere. Like everybody's talking about, people want this lifestyle that they're watching on TV.
I was just thinking.
Their minds have been shaped and they have no idea what's really going on. Reality TV is not real.
Thank you.
And that's what people are basing what they desire. They want that lifestyle. They want to drive in that car. They want to live in that house. And something that they've been seeing on TV, they don't even know. Those people don't even own those houses.
Thank you, Danielle. So I've done reality TV, quite a few shows, and I'm new to the game, right? So I'm thinking, all right, it's going to be real. And then I'm realizing, well, why is the producer creating this scene, and why are they trying to get them to rile things up? It's not real. It's entertainment. But if all you do is watch Housewives of Atlanta and Married to Medicine and a gazillion other shows that I can't even name, if all you're doing is watching these rappers and these singers and these performers and these athletes, and you're looking at how they flossing and living their life, and now you have people like Kevin Samuels and so many others saying you need to have a high value man and a high value woman, and it's based upon money, then that's going to create an appetite for you. Exactly. But it's not realistic.
It actually shapes what you think is the norm.
Absolutely.
I don't think people actually have a realistic understanding of what the norm is, what people's real lifestyles are, what real working class looks like, because all you're doing is watching television. These are the statistics. If you're dealing with 9%, just 9% of the population.
Matter of fact, let me show them this statistic because I think this is going to make a lot of sense. Let's go from the bottom to the top. The top 10% earners at the bottom, they make $158,000. 10%ers of the country. 2018, right? 158. You want to be in the top 5%? 309,000. The top 1%? 737,000. And 0.1% earners make 2.8. So we're looking at people on television who are anywhere between 10% and 0.1%, and we think, to your point, that is the norm.
Right.
And that is absolutely not.
And we think that's what we need to become, because when we're talking about I need to become this high value man, that's the requirement. I mean, there's so many people that are living above their means trying to be a high value man, right? And they've missed the entire values conversation. The values conversation is big. It's key. I wish that somebody would sit down and say, okay, what are your values? What do you actually believe in? Because your belief will carry you through a multitude of storms. But if your whole focus is on, let me get these coins, let me get to 1%, you'll do a lot of shady crap to get there if that's what you think you got to do. By hook or crook.
That's absolutely right. And you will do, and that's the thing, it's creating such a drive and a hunger and a desire in people that they will cut corners. So when you think about, I got to go to school for 8 years to make, $60,000, $70,000 a year when I can get this money and get it now the fast way, but it's not long lasting, it's not sustainable, there's no value and ethics attached to a lot of it, and it doesn't set you up for a long-term committed relationship. And so you have women who are saying, I want this man based upon this money, and then you get into the relationship and you realize, well, where's all the other stuff that's missing?
Yeah, and the other thing that just came to my mind that I keep hearing is that, what he talks about too is a certain earning potential, like when you're in your 45, this area to, I forget the exact range, but at the age where most men are married already, is when you are at your highest earning potential and you are a high value man right now.
Look at it, Danielle.
Okay,
right.
there it is right
Between
there.
35 and 64,
There we go.
right?
So you're going to make your most money at that
60
point.
grand.
But here's the thing. Here's the kicker. Because a lot of these husbands that are listening to this information have come down a long road with the woman that they were with. Okay, discretions, indiscretions, or whatever aside, because those have happened too. They've come a long way to get to that point with someone, and then the audacity of turning to them and saying, you know what, my value is increasing now. Yours is decreasing because you're over 30, you've got children, you've gained weight. Bro, I made those children with you. I gained that weight with you. You built this life with me. Like, it is so demeaning to me that these husbands are turning to their wives and belittling them based on what somebody said about them being high value. How are we doing this in the relationship? Why would we even think that way? Why are we not thinking we're coming up together? I'm at my highest earning potential right now, and we're going up together. Why not think like that?
Exactly. Team of we, not team of me. And this creates this competition, this me versus you philosophy that doesn't work. Last comment, Jules says, shake my head. The culture of this world is so warped. I'm glad the kingdom of God is my source. Our generation needs help. I'm glad people like you exist. Greater things you will do. We received that. Listen, guys, this is just the beginning of this show. We're going to go deeper and deeper and deeper. Stay tuned. We'll see you tomorrow for another great episode.